children, hope you are good, safe at home. Already we are done with introduction of improvement in food resources. Today we are going to discuss the next topic, that is crop variety improvement. Before we discuss this topic, we have to discuss what is the need to improve the variety. As children, already we have discussed that in India the population is increasing day by day. To meet the demands of increasing population, we need to increase the production with the new varieties. So as of we are now discussing about the new varieties of crop plants. What are the desired traits we want to be in the new varieties of plants? These are the desired traits which we are expecting. The new variety should give higher yield with good quality. Along with this, the new variety should be disease resistant. And the new variety should respond to the fertilizers so that we can ensure the growth and increase the production. And along with this, the new variety should have good adaptability so that we can increase the production definitely. So till now we are very much clear with the desired traits what we are expecting in the new varieties of plants. So now we have to know how can we produce new varieties with such desired traits. Do we have any possible ways? Yes, we have. There are some methods through which we can develop new varieties of plants. Those methods which we are going to discuss in this topic, they are hybridization and gene incorporation. What is hybridization first? Children, did you remember what is the definition of hybridization? Very good. It is the cross between two dissimilar plants. When we do the cross between two dissimilar plants, we will select such plants which will have desired traits. Then the new plants which are formed from this will have all such desired traits which we want. We can observe the process of hybridization in three different ways. They are intervarietal hybridization, interspecific hybridization and intergeneric hybridization. Let's look at one by one in clear. The first one is intervarietal hybridization. Intervarietal hybridization is such a process. Here we are doing a cross between two different varieties of plants. Example, the cross done between two different varieties of wheat or two different varieties of rice. Then the product formed will have desired qualities among these and it will be a new variety. This is called as intervarietal hybridization. And the second one is interspecific hybridization. In this interspecific hybridization, we will perform a cross between two different plants which belong to two different species, but they belong to same genera. If we go with the example, if we do a cross between a horse and the donkey, the progeny formed is mule, which is sterile. This is called as interspecific hybridization. And the third type of hybridization which we are going to discuss is intergeneric hybridization. What is intergeneric hybridization? Children, already I told you the definitions of intervarietal and interspecific. Can you tell me what is the definition of intergeneric hybridization? Yes. Intergeneric hybridization is such hybridization we will do a cross between two plants which belong to two different genera. If we go with the example, here we are doing a cross between two different genera. Like if we do a cross between a wheat crop and the rye crop, Then the progeny found is triticale. This is called as intergeneric hybridization. The next method we are going to discuss is gene incorporation or genetically modified crops. In this method, we will select a particular gene which is responsible for particular desired trait. If you look at the flowering plants or the fruit yielding plants, definitely we will select the big sized fruits or juicy fruits. Okay, so that particular trait or the particular gene which is responsible for that big size or juicy nature we will select and incorporate into another plant. When such a foreign gene is extracted and incorporated into particular plant, definitely the gene composition will be changed. That is the reason the crops which are formed by this method are called as genetically modified crops. Example for this is BT cotton. BT cotton is a variety of cotton which is developed by this method. And the desired quality which was acquired in this method is, this is very much resistant to diseases. So these are the two methods in which we can develop new varieties of plants. So for the new varieties to be accepted, the new varieties of plants which are produced, they should give high yield under different conditions in any place of the India. So let's look at the cultivation process. If the farmer is supplied with good quality of seeds, if he starts the process of cultivation, if all the seeds germinate under the same time, then the seed should face different conditions like availability of water, type of the soil, and also weather factors. All these factors will decide the growth of the plant and production of the yield. Children, can we predict the weather conditions? No, right? We cannot predict when we will have heavy rainfall which will lead to floods, and when we will have less rainfall which will result in conditions like drought. Okay, and even soil conditions are also not similar throughout. There may be high salinity in particular area and they may be not in another area. So the new varieties which are developed, they should be resistant to all these factors and they should give their yield. Let's look at some more factors through which we can develop new varieties of plants. The first factor we are going to discuss is high yield. To increase the crop production per acre, we are adopting new methods like hybridization and gene incorporation. Our motto is to increase the production. That is called as higher yield. Next one. How can we decide the quality of the product? The second factor is product quality. How can we decide the quality of the product? If we take the example of fruits and vegetables, if they preserve for long time, it decides the quality of the product. If you take the example of pulses, if they have good protein content, it will decide the quality of the product. Coming to cereals, if you take wheat, the baking quality will decide the quality of the product. So we have to develop such varieties with good quality. And the third factor we are going to discuss is biotic and abiotic factors. Children, do you know what are biotic factors and abiotic factors? Yes, biotic factors are nothing but living factors and non-biotic factors are non-living factors. If we look at the biotic factors first, germs, microorganisms, pathogens, pests and all, they play major role in damaging the crop. They may affect during the process of cultivation and they may attack the grains even after the harvest. Next, coming to non-biotic factors. These non-biotic factors like high temperature, high salinity, cold frost and all, they also have its own impact in affecting the plant growth. So we need to develop such varieties which can resist all these biotic and abiotic factors. The fourth factor we are going to discuss is change in maturity duration. What is this, children? In the ancient times, the farmer used to grow same single crop for the whole year. If he follows the same even now, can we increase the production, children? No. So instead of growing one crop, he can raise multiple rounds of crops so that it will be more economical to him. So the shorter the duration from sowing to harvest, the more economical it is. Even the uniform maturity will make the harvesting process easy. And also the cost of the production will be decreased and the farmer will be benefited economically. This is called as change in maturity duration. And the next topic, next factor we are going to discuss about is wider adaptability. What is wider adaptability? We have to develop the new varieties with much adapting characters or factors. They should resist to any climatic factors. They should resist to floods, they should resist to drought, they should resist to high saline conditions, and they should resist to all biotic and non-biotic factors. So we want such new varieties of plants with wider adaptability. It will be accepted, and always the plants which are developed with this adaptability are always desirable and favorable. And the last factor which we are going to discuss is use of agronomical characters or agronomical design traits. What are these? When we are discussing about crop plants and fodder plants, we have discussed about that. When we are growing fodder plants, we will select such a desired type of crops which will grow tall and they are profusely branched, so that we can provide good fodder for the cattle. In the same way, when we select cereal crops, that cereal crop should be short and dwarf, so that they absorb less nutrients and they'll be strong to withstand strong winds and all. These are the desired traits which we expect in growing different types of crops. So children, these are the factors on which we can develop new varieties of plants. Children, are you all clear with the different processes like hybridization, genetically modified crops, and also the factors which we have discussed in improving new varieties of plants? So children, meet you all in the next session.